Suns fans, do we have a lot to talk about tonight? And if you guys have been following my last few videos and even my last live stream, you guys know that I'm currently coming down with something that has been taking away my voice. Luckily, though, I've been taking some super cough drops here. And luckily, I have somebody who was nice enough to join me when I kind of low-key needed somebody to join me on tonight's live stream. I'm here with my friend, Reliable Rants, and Brandon Ingram super fan. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm pretty not ecstatic because I do enjoy the Suns, but I'm pretty happy right now. I'm in a good mood.
The last like 10 minutes of the stream, can we just like trash the Lakers?
I'm totally okay with that. Let's do that, man. Let's do that.
I'm so down. But no, you guys, we seriously have so much to talk about tonight. It is not even funny. And as I said before we went live, I don't even know where to begin. So make sure you guys to absolutely just Hulk smash the like button, just destroy it, just destroy the like button and share this stream and we will get things started. So the Phoenix Suns do fall to the New Orleans Pelicans tonight, 125 to 114, and Reliable. I don't know about you, man. From the start, I felt like the Phoenix Suns energy was just not there. I kind of knew something was off from the beginning. And we obviously witnessed that Devin Booker 31-point half explosion, which we will talk about. But just to get things started, man, just give me your initial thoughts, your takeaways, and then we'll dive into it.
Yeah. Initial thoughts. I thought it was more the Pelicans' energy outweighing the Suns' energy rather than the Suns coming out sluggish. Because I don't think you guys came out sluggish or anything like that. I think the reason the Pels won this game, obviously, besides Book leaving in the second half, is they maintained the same pace and their own energy throughout the entire game.
Facts.
And obviously, you guys go on these crazy runs that like is unseen in the
which we did see later in the game.
Yeah, but the Pels did a really good job of not letting you guys start these crazy runs that you go on. And you could hear Reggie Miller in the broadcast. He was like, "Hey, the Suns are about to go on a run. Wait, they have to make sure the Suns don't go on a run. Wait, the Suns might go on." And it never happened. So during when the fourth quarter started, I don't know. The Pels felt that they had full control of the game, and that proved to be true. So I just think the maintaining of the energy for the Pels was the key to the win. In my just initial broad thoughts.
And I'm not blaming the loss on this, but coming out with that energy and that hustle and effort, that has to deal with offensive rebounding and really rebounding in general. I'm just glancing at the numbers right here. The Suns lost the rebounding battle by 10 tonight.
Yeah.
Last game they lost it by 20. So I guess that's a little improvement, but tonight I did not see much rebounding, and that was really the story kind of in the first half before Devin Booker went out.
I think I think that Valanciunas is honestly just outplaying DeAndre in the season. The series personally.
The series, yeah.
Yeah.
I said something in my last video. I was like, we cannot have Jonas Valanciunas have a average 25 rebounds a game. I'm like, that can absolutely not happen. And he only finished the game with 13 tonight. And again, the Suns only lost the rebounding battle by 10. But DeAndre Ayton only had 4 rebounds. He didn't really seem into the game that much. On the exception though, when he hits that little mid-range floater, he's getting great at that.
I agree with that.
But really, you guys, the main story here is obviously the Suns lost. Devin Booker's 31-point first half explosion, and then Devin Booker's injury. I didn't see what happened. All I saw was that he went to the locker room and like the media was tweeting it and stuff. And then Shams Charania and all of them said Devin Booker will not return. Ali LaForce interviewed.
I'm hearing that I just saw like on Instagram, like for a brief moment, that the play where he like hit that like 3, like I think it might have been an N1 and like fist pumped that baby in the corner. You know what I'm talking about?
They cursed us.
No, people are saying that's the play he actually got injured.
Oh.
And like he just kind of played that off, but then it started. But that's not confirmed at all. I just saw that as a theory on Instagram. But yeah.
Well, Ali LaForce was interviewing Monty Williams at the start of the fourth quarter, which I do want to talk about later about what he said. But during that, he said Devin Booker's out with a hamstring injury. We'll see what happens. And then Devin Booker came back to the bench, and his face said it all.
Oh, 100%.
He looked kind of closed in, and he wasn't smiling, he wasn't talking, and it sucks. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, as long as Devin Booker is okay, as long as he is healthy, that's all that really matters. And this Phoenix Suns team, as I'm sure we have a next man up mentality. We're gonna have to prove how good of a team we are. This is just like when Chris Paul went out.
Yeah, and I've been saying the whole season, I think you guys are the best team in the NBA. So the thing is, I think in these past few games, especially the Suns fans have learned that the Pels are really no joke. They have two of the best one-on-one scorers in the NBA, and they have one of the best young coaches in the NBA. And it's crazy because you got 4 or 5 rookies in the rotation for the Pels. So just thinking about their future, I know this is kind of off topic, but
no, go for it.
You give them 1 year of progression for those rookies: Jose Alvarado, Herb Jones, Murphy,
Trey Murphy. Yep.
Yeah. And then with adding Zion, I think they're a top 5 seed in the West next year. And I think currently, I still think you come out of this series, but I think they're definitely not the easiest of matchups you could have gone as an 8 seed.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the Pelicans also have draft picks they could play with if they wanted to. And again, as you mentioned, a healthy Zion. Herb Jones is a defensive stud. Trey Murphy's kind of low key good.
He's the best 3-point shooter, like out of the rookies.
Yeah, like he's hit some big shots for them. He can play. They got youth. They got Zion. They got a great coach in Willie Green, who I could praise literally all day, and I'm not even joking. And this Pelicans team is good, and I think Suns fans thought we were just going to sweep them and it would be easy. And I knew that was not going to be the case. I was like, I still believe the Suns are going to win this series, probably in 5 games. But I
don't blame you.
In 5 games, but
the Pels almost lost to a Clippers without Paul George. So if I'm a Suns fan, I'm like, what the fuck? This team almost lost to Clippers without their 2 stars. Like, this is a sweep. And then this happened.
And that's where I just go back. Like, we were talking about the Pelicans' energy and how they contained it all game and everything. But for me, something just seemed off. Until Booker went on that explosion, I felt like the Suns just really didn't have it tonight. And I feel like, and I've said this so many times in videos and streams, when the Suns, quote, get punched in the mouth early, which they kind of did, that's when we have trouble making it up. And I know we're the most clutch team in the league and everything, but there's just some games where the Suns just don't respond well. And also another thing, too, I put this in my notes, the Pelicans were actually making their shots this game. Last game, even though I think McCollum had 25 last game, Ingram had 18, they missed a lot of shots.
Yeah, and I would say just by watching it, I don't know the actual stats, I think you guys missed a lot of shots today as well.
Yeah.
Like, Crowder was bricking threes.
Oh, God.
Like, there was some.
Yeah, he was 2 for 11. It's funny, though. Both teams shot 50% or better. Pelicans shot nearly 55%.
CP3 was
shot 50%.
Oh, wow. That's actually surprising.
I know. There's been so many games this year, whether it's the Suns or not, where teams have shot over 50%, and obviously one of them loses, but it's crazy. Like, that's the league that we are in now. Teams just shoot these super high percentages, even if it's not the most efficient, which we did see a lot from the Suns tonight.
And CP3 wasn't, the most efficient tonight either.
Yeah. And it's funny because he finished with 17 and 14, but at 5 for 16 shooting.
Yeah, from the field. Yeah. And then obviously he had a lot more weight was on him. So
I don't want to blame the loss on Chris Paul, though. I'm opening up my Sprite, though. I had to open up my Sprite.
Out, then Chris Paul's going to have to really
hit that takeover mode like he did in game 1.
The game plan can completely switch for the Pelicans defensively because obviously their game plan is to stop Devin Booker and then worry about everybody else, really. So
I want to quickly bring up a comment here that Shock Chucker said our transition defense sucked. That was one thing that Monty Williams was talking to Ali about. He's like, we need to get back on transition defense, and it was like switches, and again, it just didn't seem like that. Like the game 1 defense that the Suns had, they were swarming the Pelicans in the paint for most of the game, except for maybe in the third quarter. This game, guys were just running all over the place.
Jackson Hayes.
Oh, God.
Jackson Hayes in transition today. Oh, man. He had 4 dunks in transition today?
First, go ahead.
Yeah. Just alluding to that. I mean,
I was just going to say thank you to everybody that's watching. We're already 10 minutes in. I feel like we're barely just getting started. But that was really what I wanted to talk about, what Shot Chucker said about our transition defense. Monty Williams is 100% right. Willie Green knows this team, so he probably told the Pelicans to attack. And my good friend Coda Kid in here says,
Yeah,
give DeAndre the ball.
I was just going to mention that comment.
Okay, what did you see from DeAndre Ayton tonight? I wasn't too impressed with him, again, except for those mid ranges, which he has mastered, in my opinion. What did you see from Ayton tonight? I made a video
about this like a year ago. It was about how DeAndre Ayton has the capability to be a top 4 center in the league, and I think he has the skill to be a dominant center in the league, but he's just not used that way, and I don't think he has the confidence in himself to do that. All of his shot attempts are just that little floater that he does and then putbacks. I think giving him the ball in the post and letting him work and create something, I think he has the talent, and I just think he needs the confidence to actually go and do that. Like, he's not nearly as talented as Jonas Valanciunas, but you still see Valanciunas shooting more than him and more in the paint on him and just outplaying him defensively. I think DeAndre Ayton just needs to be
rebounds.
Exactly. Yeah. I think DeAndre Ayton has the ability. He just needs to be shown that he could do that by the coaching staff, I think. And they might already be doing that, but that's personally watching him. I think he has a talent to take over a game, but it's just, that's not how the game plan works. So I agree with Coda Kid. I think they could give him the ball and just let him go to work.
And again, like, I don't want to blame this loss on DeAndre Ayton. I don't want to blame it on the rebounding that I, could talk about forever. I mean, the Suns need to rebound as a team at the end of the day, but DeAndre Ayton needs to be the tone setter for that. He needs to box out. Monty Williams said, the boxing out is a lost art in the NBA, and he's absolutely right. But yeah, I mean, it's all with experience. DeAndre Ayton had an incredible playoff run last year, pretty good in the finals and everything. And he's playing for a max contract. And it's just one game. Well, 2 games now, but you get my point. It's one game. Suns lost.
Hey, but going back home to New Orleans,
I know. Oh, God.
Maybe going back home to New Orleans without D-Book would be, and that's an opportunity for DeAndre Ayton to start eating as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys don't have a walk in the park anymore, it seems, unfortunately for y'all.
One thing I noticed throughout this game was the Pelicans just went on these like random stretches of scoring, and so did the Suns. Like, at one point the Pelicans had 6 turnovers in 7 minutes, and I think during that stretch that's when Booker went into his takeover mode. Let me see here. By the way, I do want to talk about Booker's 31 before we talk about the injury and everything. I mean, there's really not too much to say about the injury. It just kind of is what it is. I hope Booker's okay and everything.
Yeah.
But, the Suns were tweeting this out. Stats William, who I think is like a ESPN guy or something. Devin Booker is the first player in NBA postseason history to record 30 points and 7 3-pointers in multiple halves. He also did it last year in game 1 against your Los Angeles Lakers. I thought that was cool.
Shit, I remember that, man.
I thought that was cool. And then, I don't know. I mean, let me just, how I was talking about the Pelicans runs and everything that they would go on?
Mm-hmm.
The Suns rallied back with a few runs of their own, but the Pelicans finished the game 28-16 in 7 minutes.
So at the start of the fourth quarter, obviously everything's still just like freshly living.
Yeah, I know. I'm still processing everything.
You guys, I remember you guys having a lot of momentum. I remember the crowd being in it, and then it went from one shot. I think Bi hit a shot, and then that's when the momentum shifted. It took one shot from the Pels to really bring the momentum towards their game and then to their way. And then once the crowd was out of it, I mean, not out of it, but once that momentum was gone, so that once the crowd was gone,
thank you for bringing that up, because look, there were times where the crowd was going insane, but I think it was even Coda Kid on Twitter who even tweeted it out. He's like, "Where's the crowd tonight, man?" And
no, I heard them. Shit, I heard them. I'm just saying, once the Pels stopped that run at the beginning of the fourth quarter, the game was really over from there. Because
hey, your boy Kyle Kuzma said the Suns have the best crowd in the NBA. He tweeted that.
I was there for game 3 last year. In the finals,
I remember that.
I almost went deaf, bro. It's crazy.
There
were really people with like earplugs, and like I saw so many people with earplugs when I was walking in that arena. Like, it was crazy.
And you know what? The Suns got to be prepared for that with the Pelicans, even though we went 36-9 or something on the road this year. best road team in the NBA by far. I think a historically good road team, which again, I do believe the Suns will win the series in 5. It won't be easy. Um, let me
Yeah.
get your
No,
let
go
me
ahead.
get your take here on Brandon Ingram, since we're kind of just rolling with this, because you're obviously that's your favorite player and everything. Tonight, Brandon Ingram, 39 minutes, 13 for 21 from the field, 37 points, 11
Yes,
rebounds,
sir.
9 assists, 1 assist shy of a triple double. So, what did you see from Brandon Ingram tonight? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I was watching the Suns. I was just trying to focus on what they were doing.
I
Like I
I
knew Ingram was going to get
yeah.
his eventually.
This will be a weird way to start it. I want to compare him to Chris Paul. Let me tell you
All
why.
right.
I think I saw him playing at his own pace and not letting the defense control the way he plays. And by that I mean Chris
I love that.
Paul. Chris Paul never lets, no matter if he has a monster defending him, he's gonna play at his own pace and his own energy, no matter what the case is. I saw Brandon Ingram doing that tonight, and he had a few turnovers, but when he would get to his little spots, he'd make the right decisions, leading to him having 9 assists, hitting shooters in the corner, and then taking a shot when it's there. I saw him like in past games. He's especially versus the Clippers. He played really well versus the Clippers. They had a bunch of turnovers. He wasn't playing at his own pace tonight. I saw him really just coming into his own, playing in his own pace, and then that's what led to other shooters getting the ball, and that's what led to his 9 assists. And then him just finding the open lane and the open shot and just taking what the defense gives him. He
And the
played like a
Pelicans
veteran.
making shots, that
He
helps
played
too.
like a veteran, man. He
Mhm.
played like Chris Paul, kind of. He played like Chris Paul tonight.
No, I'm fine with that, man. I mean, I knew he was going to go off eventually. I was like, it's either going to be him or McCollum, or I hope this doesn't happen, but both of them. I'm scared for the game where they both go off. I mean, McCollum did have 23 points and he had
I
25 in
I
game
really
one,
like
but
Willie. Another thing about Willie Green is he's been playing McCollum at the 1, which is McCollum's never seen that
yeah.
before.
Mhm.
And Willie Green has said millions of times that McCollum's a natural point guard, and I'm starting to believe it. I think the way he's been playing at the point guard position, I think he is. It's been really good for them.
We're getting some really good comments in here. Guys were falling on the ground a lot tonight. I was nervous too. Shout out to Super Mario Hoops. He said he got kind of worried when Bridges went down. He hasn't missed a game and everything. And then I saw another good comment in here. The Pelicans attacked mismatches all game. That has to be addressed. Exactly. Talking about DeAndre Ayton and not giving him the ball. Just lots of good lots of good comments in here. The Foster curse.
Yeah.
I do want to get okay. I said this in my last live stream
I think
because I,
Scott
I was
Foster.
solo. Yeah, Scott Foster,
Oh
and
my goodness,
apparently
we don't need
Chris
to talk
Paul's
about
over. Yeah.
this.
Okay, so that's where I'm like in my last live post game. When Herbert Jones like hit DeAndre Ayton with his shoulder or whatever. I was like, I'm gonna let the comments and the chat be the jury and the verdict. I didn't really feel like officiating was a problem tonight, and I even tweeted this. I said, you guys can blame Scott Foster on this all you want, but that's not the issue tonight. And that's kind of when I
Yeah,
knew this game was going to come down to the wire. I just knew I had that feeling. So what did you think? Like, did you even notice the officiating?
yeah. I
I
think
did.
I did. I don't think it really went one way, but I noticed that the refs are letting, and I think all referees in the entire playoffs have been letting people play, have been letting
Facts.
people just more than just being really nitty gritty about calls. I thought it was a normal officiated game in these playoffs. I thought they let people play, and I thought it was called fairly on both sides. Like I didn't.
I mean, the Suns
Yeah,
made 15 free throws. Pelicans made 16. So,
yeah.
I mean, sounds pretty even to me.
Like, was there any about the whole Chris Paul thing? Was there
Uh-huh.
any call on Chris Paul that was like that was not called, or they were playing unfairly against Chris Paul? No, there's no correlation between Scott Foster calling Chris Paul like in a bad way.
Yeah,
Being
and
biased.
I'm like, I think they might have reviewed a few plays, but I don't recall. And sure, they probably did
Yeah.
make a few bad calls that I'm forgetting
And
about. But
even and
I
even
would have
if even if there's bad calls, you can't blame this game on the referees. Like, not even
exactly.
close. Like, yeah, and I don't blame fans for doing that. When a team loses, you automatically go to like an external force is the problem.
Yep.
But you can't really do that for this game. Like that was not the problem. It was just the energy overall by both teams.
I like this comment from Eddie, and he says the defense needs to step it up in the third quarter. Keywords there, third quarter, because in game one we saw that the Suns were dominating the first half. Pelicans made that third quarter run. So again, the third quarter, and I saw a comment earlier that was talking about like the Suns bench. Suns bench needs to be better. And with all due respect to Cam Johnson, who I absolutely love, he was 4 for 10 tonight.
Payne was kind of non-existent.
Payne had a couple nice drives to the lane, but he needs to step up.
They put Shaman in there for a little bit.
Yeah, and he had a few little spark plug moments where he would, make a crazy dunk or a nice three. Yeah. But and then someone brought this up too, the ball movement. One thing the Suns are great at is the ball movement. I didn't see much ball movement tonight.
I saw some in the fourth quarter. Mikal had a couple of backdoor cuts,
yeah.
which I really liked.
He is so good at that. He is sneaky good with that. And Mikal Bridges continues to grow in front of our eyes offensively, in my opinion.
He's gonna be. I have a hot take that Mikal Bridges is gonna be in the league for 20 years. He's one of those players that can do something like that.
Facts.
In my opinion.
And again, he did kind of. I swear, the guy's literally like an Iron Man. That's kind of the popular thing with Suns fans. Yeah. There was one kind of wild sequence where he kind of landed wrong and he immediately went to his ankle. But in Mikal Bridges fashion, he just walked it off and got back on defense. Yeah. And Mikal Bridges is just absolutely amazing, man. You know what, though? Let's talk about the Pelicans a little bit because we talked about Brandon Ingram and everything. Herb Jones is solid on defense. He played 41 minutes tonight. And he's a rookie.
It's great efficiency. Yep. And then like the stats don't even, bro. Yeah.
It doesn't describe what he does every night.
He dove on the bro. Like he'd be on the floor. Right. He's exactly what the Pels have so many nitty gritty guys like Jose Alvarado and Herb Jones and people like that are like, and Larry Nance Jr. like that are so like key, like a Mikal type player. So
yeah, I'm like Herb Jones is literally their Mikal Bridges, but he's a rookie.
Yeah,
and Jose Alvarado, or however you pronounce his name, he's really good. That guy played. Kind of reminds me like a pesky Javon Carter,
He's like an interesting player.
I heard he was pretty popular at Georgia Tech. I could be wrong at that.
He hit some big threes towards down the stretch.
I'm not a big college guy, but that's what I've been hearing.
He had 2 threes. And he had a couple. He played good, and he's literally taking Devontae Graham spot in this rotation, and Devontae Graham was a borderline all-star like 3 years ago.
I know. I feel bad for Devontae Graham.
Yeah, what happened to Devontae Graham?
I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know if it's just maybe he's not consistent. I don't because he was
what happened was in his last year in Charlotte, he took a huge step back because Melo came back, and he's just been like this ever since. So, yeah. I don't know what the reason is. But
continuing the Pelicans talk, though, and we sort of hinted at this earlier, I really do want to give a whole bunch of credit to Willie Green, who, yes, he is best friends with Monty Williams. He did play with Chris Paul, and he was on the Suns staff for the last 2 years, and I think he might have been.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was on the Suns the last 2 years, and then he's had tons of coaching experience.
Did you know who he was when he was a member of the Suns staff?
Yes, I did. I didn't know too much about his NBA career, to be honest. Like I knew he played and everything, but I didn't really think much of it. But Chris Paul obviously loves him. The whole staff loves him, man. And he's obviously not going to win Coach of the Year because that belongs to Monty Williams. But, and I could talk about this all day. There's so many coaches that deserve so much coaching love this year. And Willie Green's got to be one of them.
And Willie Green was getting a lot of backlash when the Pelicans run a 10-game losing streak.
Exactly.
Let's not forget that the Pelicans had a below 500 season this year, and they made it in the playoffs. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they win like 30-something games, and sure, they're 10 games under whatever to make the playoffs. They got in because of the play-in tournament, but I don't care. That's the NBA world that we live in now.
Hey, you guys caught the Pels at their highest point in the season. They're at the highest level of play they've been the entire season.
And let me tell you this too. The stuff that Monty Williams has brought here and his coaching staff has brought here in terms of like culture and respect for his players, and that's what Willie Green's doing in New Orleans. I mean, I've seen media members tweet about that. I've heard the broadcasters and everything talk about that. And I know you saw that incredible play-in game speech by Willie Green, right? Where he's like, we got to fight. We got
to
yeah.
Like that's in the huddle.
Like that is Willie Green, man. And like, again, I guess what I'm saying is he just deserves so much credit. The whole Pelicans team deserves credit. Your boy, Brandon Ingram, deserves credit. Borderline all-star. And yeah,
he's been an all-star
yeah,
before.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. That's my Pelicans rant. That's my Willie Green rant. This whole team they're good, man.
Yeah.
And the future's bright over there. So if you're a Pelicans fan and you're watching, get ready for Zion to come back. Get ready to move some of those draft picks you don't need and get some more players in there because they're going to be good, man.
What do you think of Jay Crowder lately? Do you still think he is, as a fan, like he's kind of known currently as his pesky defender, but he's been really inefficient and he's been playing at least 30 minutes every single night. There that goes. Yep.
Dude,
Okay, we know he's been bricking the shit out of the ball. My question for you is, do you still think his pesky defense makes him as valuable player as Cam Johnson? This is pretty funny though. That's pretty funny.
First off, a burner account. You are an absolute legend. I think you said it. The defense. Because if I remember correctly, Jay Crowder did pretty good guarding Brandon Ingram and whoever in game one.
Yeah.
And maybe I overlooked his defensive performance tonight. But he is a little inconsistent. And if I remember correctly, was it last year against the Lakers? He started off that series rough. If I remember correctly, he needs to be more consistent. I can't really recall,
honestly. That series was like a blur to me.
I know, right? He needs to be more. He needs to be more consistent. A little too much Jay Crowder on offense tonight, which kind of killed us, and that kind of goes back to the rebounding too. Cam Johnson, though.
Cam Johnson as a defender, I think is pretty solid. Just needs more muscle and like stuff like that. But I agree.
He starts, he needs to be more consistent. Now they're not going to pull Jay Crowder out of the lineup unless he just continues to.
I think he'll get less than 30 minutes next game.
Yeah,
27 minutes.
I wonder if the Suns need to go to their bench more. I know that sounds crazy because I had a comment in here earlier talking about the bench and everything, but we need more guys to get involved. I don't know. Maybe that's crazy. Maybe that's a rookie coach mistake, but maybe we need to go to our bench more. I don't know.
You want to hear a fun fact that I'm just looking at by seeing the stats?
Go for it.
JaVale McGee in 15 minutes had the same amount of points as DeAndre Ayton in 33 minutes. So
I'm done. Good night.
That also alludes to the fact that Ayton needs to get the ball more, especially if Book is going to be out for an extended period of time.
Yep, exactly.
If you got JaVale McGee producing the same amount of buckets as you when you're a young star, that's not good.
And that's what's weird because Chris Paul had 14 assists tonight, but I feel like DeAndre Ayton didn't really touch the ball. I mean, there were a few stretches where he did, and he hit those mid ranges like you talking about.
You guys were fighting an uphill battle. I feel like you go to I don't watch as much Suns as you do, obviously, like no shit. But I feel like you guys go to DeAndre when you feel comfortable. I don't think it's like, oh, if we need a bucket, we go to DeAndre. I don't think you're there yet. And since you guys were fighting an uphill battle pretty much all game, I think you were like, that wasn't even in the thought process to go to DeAndre for a bucket.
We should have, man.
So yeah, I think you only go there when you feel like, oh, we can afford DeAndre and miss, not we need a DeAndre and bucket. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of more of like a risk than a reward.
And you know what? DeAndre Ayton low key can get you points when you need them. Obviously in the paint and everything. But you got to get him. That's the one like criticism I guess I have with DeAndre is you got to get him motivated. And I understand you got to get the big man the ball. I get that. It's like a quarterback to a wide receiver and everything, but it's like he should be aggressive and want the ball, command it, and dominate when he has it.
Yeah.
And that goes back to boxing out and grabbing damn rebounds, man. Grab the damn rebound.
I think when someone says that a player was non-existent, like they're saying DeAndre Ayton is tonight, it has everything to do with the body language or just how the player is on the court. So if you look at a player like Patrick Beverley, let's say Patrick Beverley has 9 points and like a steal. DeAndre Ayton has 9 points and a steal. Patrick Beverley is going to be so much more existent in there because he's Patrick Beverley and he plays like an absolute maniac. So it's not really about the stats. It's about how you are acting as a player and how you are on the court. So I think DeAndre Ayton's body language and his leadership skills aren't really there. I know he's not the leader, but I just think that like that's the whole origin of the word non-existent in basketball anyway.
Go to kids
Yeah.
like he was open all night and everyone was like, nah.
Yeah.
Which I agree with because
Hey,
I've seen that a
Valanciunas
lot.
is a really good defender.
He is.
Let's give him that. But Valanciunas should not be taking more shots than DeAndre. Like, shouldn't be happening.
Another comment here says fourth quarter Chris Paul doesn't need to slow. Sorry, fourth quarter Chris Paul doesn't need to slow the game down. We need to race back to the top, then slow the game down. He does that too often. I don't really know if we had take over Chris Paul tonight. I mean, obviously we didn't. I mean, Jamal Crawford was at that game one and told him to shoot the ball, and that was when he exploded and everything. And I want to read you a couple Monty Williams quotes that I'm reading from the media here. Monty Williams said, and I quote, "That was probably the worst transition defense the team has played since he got to Phoenix." Yikes. And then he also said the Suns defense was spotty and put it well by saying they were hoping the Pelicans missed instead of making them miss, which means they basically left him wide open and dared him to shoot.
Yeah.
Jackson Hayes took a 3 in this game. So Monty Williams is right, man.
You know what's funny? Valanciunas is bringing all them threes. I swear Willie Green was like, "You gotta stop shooting some three," and then he stopped. Yeah, I mean, look, if you guys played the worst game ever, like people are alluding to, you were in the game the entire game.
True. And we came back. We came back. And I feel like I'm kind of being a little too harsh on the Suns. You are right. We did come back. Another thing with this game was the 3-point shooting. Pelicans obviously shot a way better percentage, 59% from three. Suns shot 37, but
59% from three as a team.
Yeah, I know.
40% from three as a player is insane.
Exactly.
Shooting 59% as a team, man. It's hard to beat.
Or 55. Did I say? I might have said, I don't know what I'm talking about. 55% for the Pelicans, 37 for the Suns. But still 55% shooting is insane.
How many did it say how many threes they took?
Yeah, the Pelicans 17 for 31. Suns were 13 for 35. That's tough. But I will say though, when the Suns were consistently making threes, Devin Booker, that was when they kind of were in the game still. And they were kind of in the game. I mean, maybe the last 4 minutes, because I said 26 to 18 in 7 minutes for the Pelicans.
Yeah. And the fact that D-Book had 31 in the first half, and I think the Pels were only down by 5.
Yeah.
Man, it just shows that they're a sticky team and they won't just go away. And the fact that you have to go back to New Orleans right now, hopefully not without, or hopefully D-Book's not, but possibly without D-Book. I personally, if I had to put my money on it, I wouldn't say Suns in 5. But if you have Devin Booker, it's tough. I think you guys come out of this series, but I think it could be a 6-game series.
Best comment ever. Let's be honest. The Pelicans were lucky we didn't have Nader.
Is that Nader like some sort of meme around the Suns?
Kind of, because he played those random NBA Finals minutes, you know.
And
Monty Williams is like in love with him, and then then he played like a little bit this season, and then we let him go. So
hey, in the playoffs, that game, in the finals, that game I was there was a Torrey Craig chant for an entire quarter. For an entire quarter, there's a Torrey Craig chant. So
honestly, I was surprised we got Torrey Craig back, because I was like, we couldn't re-sign him because of salary cap and stuff. And then all of a sudden we traded back for him. Oh, Jalen Smith.
Hey, you know Jalen Smith was really good towards the end of the season for the Pacers. You know that, right?
Suns would have won this game if Jalen Smith was on the roster. Let's be real.
I remember being on that live stream with you when they drafted him, man.
I was like, tell me about Jalen Smith. I don't know who this guy is.
I don't know shit about Jalen Smith.
Oh, my God.
And now you got Tyrese Halliburton, who averages... Never mind. We're not going to go into that.
Tyrese Magic Johnson Halliburton. Let's keep reading some stats here, though. 43-33 on the rebounding battle. Pelicans won by 10. I will say this. I was kind of criticizing the Suns on Twitter and stuff for their offensive rebounding. They stepped it up. At one point, I think the Pelicans had 9 offensive rebounds. They finished the game, 9 offensive rebounds. They finished the game with 11. Suns picked that up. They finished the game with 8. So I am pretty impressed with that. That's where I'm like, can't really blame too much of this game on the rebounding. Maybe in the first half. Again, the Pelicans did win the rebounding battle.
You definitely can, because didn't you say you guys got out rebounded by 20?
Yeah, last game. Yeah, we did.
Oh, I thought that was this game.
No, last game. 10 this game, 20
Yeah,
last game.
you can't blame it on you can't blame the game on like one thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, still getting out rebounded by 10 is that's a large margin. I mean, maybe not on the offensive glass, but offensive rebounds are really important. If you can't secure that, then
Another thing too, 32 assists for the Pelicans tonight, 26 for the Suns, which isn't terrible, but
that's
clearly,
impressive
yeah.
because the Pelicans play a lot of ISO ball. I mean, CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram are ISO players. So the fact that there's 30 whatever you said assists for the Pelicans is
32.
Actually kind of surprising.
And I've said this all season, even last season, when the Suns have over 30 assists, they usually win the ball game. Pelicans had 32 tonight. They won the ball game. And Pelicans, from what I know, from what I've kind of picked up, since we figured out we were going to play them, they obviously play their best basketball late in stretches, which we kind of saw tonight. And they just deserve a lot of credit, man.
Iverson vlog said, "Do you think Booker might play it through the next game?" What I'll say about that, obviously, we don't know absolutely anything about the injury.
The only people that know is Devin Booker and the medical staff.
If D-Book can play through it, he will play through it. So
but that's risky.
It's really just comes down to the medical aspect of it.
Daniel's like, well, we're screwed.
Hey, when I was talking to this dude about coming on this live stream, it seemed like he had the same mentality. So that's all I'll say about that.
I was like, dude, we're gonna lose. From what I know about hamstring injuries, though, I don't know if that's something you'd want to play. And then I want to say someone brought this up. Let me see if I'm getting this correct.
And usually when people say hamstring tightness,
tightness. Yeah, thank you. Not
is pretty much tightness. What I know is tightness is a word that takes the place of a strain or a pull when you can't fully diagnose it. So you just replace that with tightness. It's like a temporary word before you can get a diagnosis of an actual injury. So I don't know. Hamstrings are tricky, man. It's interesting. I'm not a fucking doctor or anything.
Yeah.
If he had a shoulder injury, you'd be given the whole spiel on that.
So Bobby Marks of ESPN tweeted this out. He said 2 games missed in February of 2019 with tight right hamstring. Nothing since. He was talking about Devin Booker's injury, obviously. So we're gonna have to see.
Didn't he have a hamstring injury earlier this season?
I thought he did too.
They were talking about that on the thing.
Yeah, I'm like, or he had some kind of injury, and obviously Chris Paul with the thumb and everything. So I don't know. Well, the doctors are probably in the chat. Maybe they'll let us know. But keep him out. We don't play till Friday, I think. I'm fine with sitting him out with game 3. But you are right. This whole Suns team, especially Devin Booker, is going to play if he can.
I don't know. If I were you, I'd be fine sitting him out game 3. I don't know if I'd just be like, oh no, you can take a game off.
Coda Kid says icy hot up, man up. I don't know, but I do agree with you on the whole. If he can play, he will play.
Yeah, people don't understand how much of it is based off the medical staff.
Yeah,
like everybody's like, oh, you gotta have that mom mentality. Like, it doesn't matter like how much you want to play. If you're not cleared to play, then you cannot play.
You don't want to worsen your injury.
Like, obviously, it's up to the players a lot. But bro, if you're not able to play, then you're just not.
I'm not gonna read that comment, but it's hilarious. If you guys are watching the streams.
Actually.
Iverson vlogs, you were too much, man.
I'm currently making a video about how the Suns Warriors series would be one of the best series in NBA history. And now I don't feel as much motivation to make that video as I did before this game. That's all I will say.
For all you NBA history buffs out there, I think Devin Booker needs to pull Willis Reed where he leaves for the locker room with an injury, comes back, and then wins the NBA championship. That's what I think needs to happen.
Paul Pierce for more modern NBA.
Yeah, exactly. Paul Pierce, who I think people kind of overlook sometimes. He was a great player, but I will say this. I do think, I mean, obviously we don't know what's going to happen, but the Suns Warriors will make an incredible series. It's too bad we can't fast forward to that series right now.
Bro,
I hope everyone stays at least 90% healthy for that series for both teams. I want to beat teams at their best. So speaking of the Warriors, you probably have watched more Warriors games than me, I'm assuming. Have you seen anything from the Warriors? I mean, I know they have that new quote death lineup.
Yeah, I don't want to
Jordan
spoil too
Poole.
much of what I was gonna say in my video, but this is
Yeah.
what I'll say. I'll say when the Warriors won the championship, I believe 2015 was the year before Kevin Durant. Yeah,
Yes.
they did not have a player like Jordan Poole on their team next to Clay and Steph Curry.
Facts.
I think they have Steph, Clay, and Dre. They have Wiggins, who's a better version of Harrison Barnes, who was on that team in 2015. They have Jordan Poole, who's one
Harrison
of the
Barnes gets forgotten about on those teams.
he's one of the Jordan Poole. They have a Jordan Poole who they had nothing like back then.
Mm-hmm.
This team, you can make a really big argument, is better than that, just on paper, than that 2015 Warriors team. You can make an argument for that. Right. This team, I think if I had to bet right now, I would say the Warriors will win the NBA championship. Just the way their roster is built, they're so deep. Steve Kerr's playing a 10-man roster in the playoffs, and they're blowing Nuggets out by 20 every single night. They have, man, don't make me ramble, bro. The Warriors are stacked.
I can't wait for your video.
And I think the playoffs, the start of the playoffs is really when we got to realize that the Warriors are actually stacked. Like, they are stacked. And I don't know, man. That's just my thoughts. I think it's a beatable series. I've been saying you guys are the best team in the league the entire season. That's why I want to see this series so bad.
Like when Steph Curry was out and everything, I was like, and sure, they were losing games and falling in the standings, but I was like, excuse me, my bad. I knew they were going to be okay. Like, they're the Warriors. You know, this team is, as you said, they're loaded from top to bottom.
I think Warriors are the most selfless team in the NBA. You got Steph Curry wanting to come off of the bench. Like, shit, man, it's crazy.
And if I remember correctly, there was one game where like Steph Curry had 8 points, and it was like Klay Thompson's like best game of the season. He had like 30 something. So that shows how deep they are.
Crazy.
So
as far as matchup wise, since you guys have so many good perimeter defenders in Mikal and Cam and Jay, like, you're not going to stop them, but it's not the worst matchups. So just
Suns, Warriors, Western Conference Finals.
Would that be? No, that wouldn't be next round, right? That'd be Western Conference.
Yeah, okay. I think it's Jazz or Mavericks, which I can't even tell you who's going to win that series.
If I were you, I'd rather play both. If I were you, I'd rather play both teams at their current state right now than the Pelicans.
Facts.
I'd rather play the Pelicans than the Mavs with Luka, but the Mavs without Luka, I'd rather play the Mavs.
And look, like, I don't want to make excuses or anything, because obviously the Mavericks are a completely different team, but like, they don't have Luka right now. You know, you still got to play. You got to play who's in front of you. You got to play with what you have. And
Jalen Brunson dropping 41.
That dude is so underrated, by the way.
Remember him at Villanova, man? He was a baller.
Yep. I don't know, Reliable. I mean, you got anything else? I mean, I think we pretty much have put all this to rest, man. I mean, I'm just kind of reading comments and seeing if I missed anything, but I hope Devin Booker is okay. I hope he comes back strong. I know he will. Kind of just looking at some last minute numbers here. I don't really think I got anything else.
Yeah. I think if Suns fans are being honest, I don't think they think you can just let D-Book sit. I don't think you could be like, oh, you can rest this game. Because obviously there was so many Suns fans that were like, oh, we're going to sweep this series. As you know, there were so many Suns fans that thought that. And now that you're going back to New Orleans, like, they put some fear in your heart. I mean, I can't speak for you, but I'm just saying, like, maybe without your best player going back home to New Orleans, man, I would be a little nervous right now if I were you, Brandon, man. Just saying.
Maybe I'm blind because I'm just so, like,
they can hoop down there, man. They can hoop.
I know. And hey, I mean, we've been praising the Pelicans and Willie Green all game and your boy Brandon Ingram. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who's your MVP? Like, if you had the opportunity to give the award, who's your MVP besides Brandon Ingram?
I'd give it to Jokic.
All right.
I've been saying Jokic is MVP this year for the entire season. I don't think there's a player more valuable to their team than Jokic.
It's fair.
In my opinion. And he's going to win it probably anyway.
I guess the last thing is, I know that you're slowly but surely on the YouTube comeback. You've been making a few videos. You got more videos planned. You want to tell the good folks out here where to find you?
Yeah. Reliable Rants on YouTube. I'm starting to upload again. You know, YouTube is coming back to me and getting more of a rhythm. So for videos like this, check me out. Reliable Rants.
And guys, let me tell you, Reliable Rants has been on this channel a lot, especially last year. And he hit me up in a time of need because my voice, as you guys know, it's been scratchy. It sounded pretty good though. I think these cough drops are working here.
Yeah,
But
I hadn't noticed anything.
and I've been drinking so much water. It's been insane, man. I've been trying to rest my voice as much as possible, but really appreciate everybody that's been in here. Stay positive, Suns fans. I know that Suns fans like to hit the panic button and everything. It's going to be okay, Suns fans. We're the best team in the league for a reason. Pray for Devin Booker. Pray that we stay healthy. And we will see you guys in game 3, which, by the way, let me pull that up before we end this. Game 3, April 22nd, Friday in New Orleans. I'm a little scared now that I think about it, but we're going to be okay.
You got an extra day for D-Book to rest.
Yep,
so.
exactly.
And Mikal. We don't know what's up with Mikal, man.
Oh, God. And dude, that was what scared me about the DeAndre Ayton thing because he was shook when he got hit in the shoulder or when Herbert Jones or whatever hit him with the shoulder. Ugh. That scared me because
Herbert Jones is literally built and plays exactly like Mikal, bro. He's like a lefty Mikal. Like it's crazy. He's like a replica. He's a carbon copy of Mikal.
Does he shoot with his left?
Yeah, he's a lefty.
I like him even more now.
His wingspan is insane, and he's a defensive pest, and he's a 3-point shooter. Like he's the same thing as Mikal Bridges. He's literally Mikal Bridges.
I'm not gonna read this comment either, but it's hilarious. Suns fans, just stay positive, you guys.
Christ.
We're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine, you guys. I'll just read one last final comment here. We need chemistry balance. Booker always carries us for some reason. CP3 couldn't help us tonight. I don't know if I really agree with that, but
unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I don't know if I agree with that fully.
Without CP3 tonight, I think you guys would have lost by 20.
Oh yeah, we would have gotten blown out. So
yeah.
But I think that's it, you guys. Make sure to Hulk smash the like button, you guys. Stay positive. We're gonna be okay. And Reliable Rants, thank you for joining me tonight, man. And as always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Go Suns, and we'll see you guys on Friday.